It's Wulf, and it's the first 15. This one is Ultra Age. This was sent to me by Dangen Entertainment through Keymailer, and it was one of those ones that I was just kind of on Keymailer the other day, looking through games that had recently come out and stuff that was coming out, and I saw it, and I saw that it was a hack and slash game, and the gameplay they had on the page looked pretty interesting, so I requested a key, and if I remember right, they got back to me pretty quickly. They sent me one like the next day, I think. And speaking of the key, it was for the PS4 version of the game, and I am playing on just a normal base model PS4. Most of you guys probably know I do have a PS5, so in the future I might do some PS4 first 15s on the PS5 because I just have it set up all the time anyway, but I think that I'm probably going to try to do PS4 games on PS4 so that way the gameplay is representative of what it'll be if you do play it on a PS4. But honestly, I mean, for the art style of this game, I don't really think that playing on a PS5 would have had a huge impact on it anyway. I thought it looked pretty good on PS4 at 1080p. But anyway, so yeah, let's start talking about the actual game. So as I already mentioned, the art style, I thought that the game looked pretty good. I liked how lush it looked. I don't know if that stays kind of the same throughout the rest of the game because, of course, playing the first 15 minutes of a game isn't always representative of the entire game, but at least in this tutorial area, I thought that the graphics looked really good. And they're in kind of that spot between realistic looking, but also sort of cel-shaded anime looking, which makes sense because the characters sort of look more anime-esque. But I thought that the graphic style was really good for this game, and I think that a graphic style like that usually tends to age pretty well. I thought it still looked really great even playing on just a normal PS4. And then I suppose I'll talk about combat next. So the combat was the main thing that caught my attention about this game. I just played No More Heroes 3 not that long ago, and I'm really a big fan of the No More Heroes series and a couple other hack and slash games, so I was pretty interested in this because it's a hack and slash game, and yeah, it is in fact a hack and slash game. It's pretty fun. The controls, I think the controls would be pretty easy to get used to, but since I just came off of playing No More Heroes 3, I kept kind of screwing up and pressing some of the buttons from that for this, because this game does use a lot of the controller because you've got strong attack, light attack, a wire thing that you can use to pull enemies closer or teleport yourself to enemies. You've also got different weapons that you can swap between while you're battling, although in the tutorial there was only the one weapon, but I think that there is definitely a lot that could go into this combat system as the game goes on, and if you like hack and slash games, there's probably some pretty crazy combos that you can get going with it. That being said, there was one oddity with the combat system that I felt was sort of weird. There's a lock-on ability in this game where you can lock on to specific enemies to target them, but you still will get swarmed by other enemies even when you're using lock-on, and so in a lot of scenarios it kind of feels like it's best to not use lock-on, but when you're not using the lock-on feature, Age, the protagonist, doesn't really seem to angle himself automatically at all towards enemies, so it can be kind of hard to hit enemies when you're not using lock-on. But also, I think that this game is meant to be a little challenging, and as it goes on, you'll probably be able to easier balance enemies out, especially once you start to unlock more weapons and stuff like that. And one other small thing that I noticed in combat was that there didn't really seem to be any health pickups. I'm sure there must be some way for Age to replenish his health because it would be kind of goofy to not have that, but it did seem weird, even in the tutorial area, to not really have a way to do so except for just letting him die and then respawn at the last checkpoint. Nonetheless, even with those two small things that I think could be worked on, the combat still was fun to play. It still felt just as good as any other hack and slash game I've played lately, so I think if you enjoy that style of game, you'll easily be able to get into the combat. As for story, this game doesn't explain itself a ton in the first 15 minutes. I feel like for me though, that was pretty much fine because I was mostly interested in this game for the combat mechanics anyway, but I mean, it does give you enough to sort of grasp what's going on and why Age is doing what he's doing. It takes place in the far future. I don't remember the exact year, but it's like past 3100, and there's robots and stuff like that, so it's definitely far future, at least in the first 15 minutes. As I've said, a tutorial is not always super representative of the remainder of the game, but that's the vibe I got even from the marketing stuff that I saw for this game. I'm not sure where I'll cut the footage for this, but there is sort of a plot twist in the first 15 minutes. Not like a huge one because you still don't really know much of the plot in the first 15 minutes, but as I said, the game does give characters justification for what they're doing, which is pretty much the most important part anyway. I do hope that the game does explain itself more in depth later on though, and I have a feeling it probably does, but it does really toss you right into things without much explanation in the first few minutes. The only other thing that I want to mention in this first 15 is the voice acting. I feel like the voice acting sort of varies in quality between between the characters. Age is okay. He does not have the best voice acting, to be honest. A lot of his lines in this first 15 minutes at least were delivered in a pretty stone-faced manner that shows less emotion than you would expect from the protagonist. Helvis, the robot which follows you around throughout this tutorial area, has pretty much what I would expect for a game of this style. And then the only other voice acting that I heard in this 15 minutes, which again, depending on where I cut the video, I'm not sure if you guys will actually see it or not, but there's a third character, a female character who gets introduced at pretty much the end of the tutorial, and I thought her voice acting was pretty good. But yeah, that is pretty much it for what I have to say. Again, keep in mind, this is just first impressions. This game does seem to have a lot that probably wasn't revealed in the first 15 minutes, so I think that there's a lot that I didn't see from it. Also, another thing to keep in mind, I checked on the PlayStation Store and this game is $30, so it is not a full $60 game or anything like that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and here it is. Bye-bye.
Helvis, what happened? Have all the NSBs gone mad?
There might still be something nearby. Let's get out of here for now.
Helvis is avoiding my question. Hey, Helvis! Didn't you say our mission was to collect a frontier relic? They're treating allies like enemies and attacking them. Damn it. What on earth are they trying to hide in this mission? I know eternal life is important, but it won't matter if we die now. I know there was no other choice, but I hate having to fight against my allies. Isn't Medea from the combat team supposed to handle missions like this? Not the exploration team.
I didn't know things were this bad. This is highly confidential information, but they never said I can't tell the mission leader. The NSBs that were sent here first were hacked and started displaying strange behavior. And knowing that, Deucalion appointed you as the mission leader.
Huh? Me? Why?
This mission requires a biological researcher, not a robot, who has an open mind about hacking. It also requires someone who can handle basic combat situations. From among the agents, you were chosen.
So he chose me for this important, highly confidential mission? You sure are observant.
Personally, I think it was a ridiculous decision. You kind of look like him, but your personality is just...
Really? Deucalion must be handsome too.
we approach the spaceship. All we have to do is figure out the cause and find the target.
Hey, I just realized you're a robot, yet you didn't get hacked.
Well, I am disappointed. I'm superior to hundreds of junk like tennis. This tool isn't really strong enough. But just in case I get hacked later.
I'll break you down and recycle you.
If I get hacked, I'll target you first.
The Frontier spaceship. What if there are a bunch of security devices once we get inside? Can you deactivate them?
If I get any closer, I might actually get hacked.
You want me to go by myself?
Italian has a discerning eye and chose you for a reason.
Coward. Looks like it's locked. How do I get in?
Why don't you try destroying everything like you usually do?
A clever suggestion from a very intellectual robot. What? These facilities look familiar. Damn. They even brought a heavy armor?
What's wrong? Did something happen?
Quiet. I'll tell you all about it. Is this it? I think I found something, Helvis. There's an old SCA that looks like you. I've never seen this model before. Is it on?
Age, the hacking signal disappeared. How did you do that?
Really? I barely nudged the thing. I think it reacted to me.
I'm sure we'll know once we analyze it. Just make sure you bring it out safely.
What did you find?
Is this thing really worth my life? That was dangerous.
You still made it out alive. Stop complaining and put the relic inside my body. I needed to analyze this and report to Deucalion. Let's go back.
Helvis! Medea! What do you think you're doing?
Getting rid of unnecessary obstacles and seizing the object of your desires. That's how the combat troops do things. Is there a problem?
Why are you acting so shameless after interfering with someone else's mission? And what's more, you're intercepting the goods. I can't just ignore someone who killed my partner.
Arrogant rookie. You must have a death wish. I'll just put you out of your misery. Kill him!